I was miserable. And from other people's point of view, she has this and she has a good job and husband and she accomplished this. What is she so unhappy about? I didn't know and understand what I was going through inside from looking at it from outside. So I actually used to have ulcer, like worry so much, scared and worry so much, and being standard and and the good standard. And so I used to have a big stomach ache. And, I used to take Pepto-Bismol and that kind of a thing. Yeah. And so that was my life. Yeah, that was my life. And until I met this practice that I do and share and teach, and then my life changed.
Ilchibuko Todd, thank you so much for being on Fear Unzipped. You're somebody I wanted from the very beginning. I have watched the film Love Heals 3 times.
But
every time it makes me weep, but it's just such beautiful transformation. You're so beautiful in it. Of course, I had Dana Crochet on here who spoke quite a bit about it, who we all love dearly. I have your book, Love Heals, the practice guide. I also have it on audio. So when I hike, I listen to it. And it's just been so helpful. In fact, I used a little bit of it this morning, which I'll talk about later. I'm going to let the listeners, I want to tell them a little bit about your background. You're the CEO of Body and Brain. You bring over 20 years of experience mastering chi energy. We all need to master chi energy. You're the author of Love Heals Practice Guide, and you're featured in the award-winning film Love Heals, showcased on Gaia and PBS. Of course, I watched it on both networks. You're an international speaker, trainer, offering expert guidance to help people reconnect with the deepest root of themselves and awaken their fullest potential. You are all about self-love and self-healing. It is what we need desperately, more now than ever. You envision individual awakening and healing as the seed from which the healing of all humanity and the earth will grow. Oh, well, yes, I think we all wish that. Ilchibuko, welcome.
Thank you for your invitation. It's so happy to be here.
I'm so happy to have you here. So the way that we start is we like to find out, or I like to find out for myself and listeners, what your backstory was before you got into these modalities that you're working in now. And what was your life like before?
Yeah, so I don't know how far you want me to go back.
Go back, just go back.
Okay. Yeah, so as I was growing up, my parents were really strict and very typical family where they expected for their children a lot. So, of course, that was no way of their love, but as I was growing up, it was very hard for me to be in that standard. So as a child, of course, I wanted them to be happy. So I did everything so that my parents will be happy for me. So that means doing well in school and have some kind of amazing dream and get good job and such. So to fit into that frame was really difficult for me. And, as I look at adults, they were all, when they gathered together as adults, they are all talking about how difficult their life was and challenging it is. And, my coworker said this, and all about difficulties and how they were just talking about those things. Their mouth was going down. And I look at them and all I wanted was go outside and play and be happy. And then I didn't want to grow up like that. So what am I to dream about as I grow up? I don't want to grow up, I was thinking. So my whole childhood and growing up in school, I suffered because, I wasn't that much of a good student, but they expected of me. And I wanted to be happy, but their expectation was so high. So I didn't feel happiness. I wasn't happy. And I always compare myself with others. And, I should be better. And I wasn't enough. So with that, I wasn't happy, and I was all the way through continued to seek for happiness. And that led me to, I grew up in Japan, but that led me to actually come to United States, searching for freedom and happiness. And as you know, happiness isn't somewhere or in something. Actually, happiness is already inside of us that is to be uncovered. But I keep searching and searching. And so that life was very nerve-wracking. And I always felt failure or in failure compared to others. And I really hated competition, competing with others. And so that was really suffering to me. Yeah. So I kept knocking on the door of what may be happiness, called happiness. So I went to good university, and I finished my major, and I got a good job, and I found a husband, and all of that, the story that, standard, social standard. I did that, but I wasn't happy still. Even next to a person who said he loved me, but I still felt full in my heart. And because I didn't know who I was, I didn't ever try to make myself happy by coming back to myself and appreciating myself and such. So I was miserable. And from other people's point of view, oh, she has this, and she has a good job and husband, and she accomplished this. What is she so unhappy about? So they didn't know and understand what I was going through inside, from looking at it from outside. So I actually used to have an ulcer, like worry so much, scared and worry so much, and being standard and the good standard. And so I used to have a big stomach ache, and I used to take Pepto-Bismol and that kind of a thing. So, yeah, and so that was my life. Yeah, well, that was my life. And until I met this practice that I do and share and teach, and then my life changed. But even to meet that practice, I had many layers of challenges. So maybe you may have heard some of my stories. So to fit into the standard, I also tried to get pregnant, but I couldn't get pregnant. So I couldn't satisfy that no matter what I did. I went to good school, everything that according to script I did. But when it came down to getting pregnant, of course I couldn't. And at that time, I felt a failure as a wife, failure as actually a human being and wife and a woman. And so I was really devastated. Yeah. And at that point was the time that I made a big trip to Sedona. That's where I actually share a lot of retreat and do the teachings. Now, exact same spot where I had awakenings. And so there, the bottom of my life, I was I wanted to find a way to be okay. Because I thought I wanted to just like evaporate. I didn't want to live because I couldn't satisfy my parents' expectation, my husband's expectation, me as a human being. Couldn't perform what I'm supposed to. And so I was at the bottom of my life. And at that point, I went to Sedona's retreat, healer retreat. And there, I found myself, through this body, mind, energy practice. And for the first time ever in my life, I knew what happiness was. So I looked for happiness everywhere and came to even United States in search of it. And there, my mind going outwards to looking for something to going inward, to meet myself. And so after that, my life completely changed because, what I was looking for all around wasn't there. It was actually, I was knocking on the door, already I was inside. So with
your
that,
story, I'm sorry, your story
Yes.
is, there are so many people listening right now that said, wait a minute, that's my story. So many of us are walking around unhappy, not joyful, thinking we're not good enough, pretty enough, fit enough, smart enough. Everybody's better than we are. And, it's funny, when you were talking, I was thinking when people used to look at me and go, oh, she's got it all, a business, a husband, children. And I always said I should get an Academy Award because I was the happiest depressed person you would ever meet. Because I had everything, but I couldn't find that happy spot until I got into this whole thing with neuroscience and metaphysics. But I'll let you continue now.
Yeah. So this method was just emptying yourself. So we think we know we are who we are, but we don't. We say that we identify ourselves as our job, our role that we play in the family, what the achievement is, or family status or situation. So, and how much you accomplished and achieved and attained, those to be something to be happy about, and we identify ourselves as that. But really, we came here empty-handed, and we will leave empty-handed. And so, the essence of ourselves is, what's left over after we release things. Yeah.
And it's so hard to do that. We go to therapy, we go to all these places, we think this person's going to help us, this person, where we're carrying it. It's within us the whole time. It just sometimes takes somebody to help us get it out. So tell me, what happened when you were at that retreat?
So it was all about shifting from looking out and us being separated from the whole to connecting. So this practice have what we call brain education, and it has 5 steps. Yeah. So first is sensitizing. Yeah, sensitizing our body, feeling, because we numb ourselves so we don't feel, and we bury all these things that we experienced that was painful, and we desensitize ourselves. So we sensitize our body to sensitize our brain, and with that, we begin to shift from this 5 sense living to beyond. So when we get in touch with sensation of energy, feeling that energy, we shift from we identifying ourselves as a past memory of ourselves, and we identify ourselves, or even there's limited beliefs that we continue to hold according to the memories that we hold. And so we begin to identify ourselves with those things. But when we be in touch with the sensation of energy, then we begin to actually be able to separate ourselves from those memories or thoughts, and what I call observer. Be able to watch it. Although you are feeling it, you're not avoiding it, but we can continue to experience what it is, but we can observe it, we can detach. So when we're able to detach, then we're able to release. Yeah, so this kind of process, I didn't know what I was doing at that time. Now I can explain. But, yeah, so this all happened there. So the first step as a sensitizing, second step as making your brain flexible, meaning we have this synapses being made on the habitual pattern of ourselves that is really fixed, in our life. But by using the energy and be able to detach ourselves, we begin to become more flexible, so we can utilize your brain in a different way. And so that's we say brain versatilizing. So we begin to make our brain flexible. And then finally, step 3 is refreshing. Cleansing and releasing, and because we're detached from it, we're able to let go and release. But a lot of times we are attached to those painful memories. We are so attached, and we identify ourselves as that. So that's why they say it's harder to release. How do you do it? But there's the key point from this body, mind, energy practice. Step 4, brain integration part. So brain integrating is balancing your brain. We say there are 3 layers of a brain. So from neocortex to limbic system to brainstem, balancing left side, right side, brain balancing, and able to utilize this being the way it meant to be utilized. And then step 5 is a brain mastery, and be able to create what you truly wish. So there are like these steps that you can go through to help ourselves. And so mainly, actually, what we do a lot is first sensitizing, because we are so desensitized, and we identify ourselves as who we are really not. So recognizing who we truly are comes from going within and shedding all these things that we piled up that is confusing us.
And can you give an example of how, like, one thing to desensitize?
So what we did to desensitize, you mean?
Yes.
So for example, who wants to feel pain? Nobody, right? And who wants to be achy all the time? So they say, in order to move forward in life, I cannot be focused on emotions, or I cannot be up and down. So they stuff in, they may overwork, just workaholic. So whatever we say holic, and that's when we actually numb ourselves, right? So alcoholic, and then nowadays this phone things, right? Entertainment, even traveling. I used to actually travel to desensitize, because when you travel, it feels so good, but then come back to the same thing, and then back to square one, it's the same thing, because inside didn't change. Yeah, unless you do some kind of a immersive retreat or program where you are uncovering things. So even traveling and desensitize, and just covering up, and then we don't feel. So that's why we do actually our energy practice. And so this energy practice, when we are thinking or when we are in emotion, we cannot feel. And so we can shift to that state by first activating the senses by tapping. We do our tapping a lot. So I'm going to try not to touch that way. Okay, so maybe I can just do my arms. So, but usually it's good to do where our organs are, and a lot of times also there's a senses here that helps us to open up. But let's do arms. So even tapping arms, we do whole body tapping exercise.
Right.
So even tapping arm, and at that time when the mind is busy, we cannot really feel. Or when I ask, well, what do you feel? I don't know. What do you want me to say?
Is it because you're focused on the tapping part on the arm that you can't, that's where your focus is going, and therefore you can't start stirring up things in your mind?
So there's a steps to also feeling, also to go inside. So at the beginning, mind is so busy. Mind wants to think a lot and bounce off. So even tapping, mind can be somewhere else. But as you are tapping more, feeling breath, breathing out, and continue to bring your mind there, you begin to feel. And then after that, you begin to go inward more, and then begin to feel different sensation, like a heat, like a tingling, and then different part can be feeling because energy begin to move. So do you want to try with me?
Sure, I will do it. I tap a lot. I do, because I've followed you, and I do tap a lot, and I had to do it today in an instant. I was stopped by a police car and he had the lights on, and I'm going to go get coffee, and I'm at a light, and this light was red for so long, and I'm in my neighborhood. I'm thinking, oh my God, people are looking at me. Why is that embarrassing? But it is. Didn't know what I did. So my instinct was to go, oh my God, what did I do? And then I started tapping on my collarbone and doing some real deep breathing, and thought, it's fine. Everything's good. Everything's fine. And then we went into a parking lot, and my license plate was just expired, the sticker. The guy he was so nice. He was so nice to me, but I made sure I was very calm, and we were laughing by the time that he got to my car. So I did use it. It was so useful.
Oh, great. Oh, great.
Yes.
So even arms, we can maybe tap like this. So as you are tapping, maybe because you are practicing already, you can go in deeper already. But as you are tapping, what kind of sensation is there?
Well, right now, this feels so good to me. And I think it's because I do this all the time. When I wake up in the morning, this is what I do. that
Yes.
it just makes me feel very grounded and
Yes.
very in my body. And I have a tendency to float a lot because I have mediumship abilities and psychic abilities, and so I can float. And this just brings me to the earth and grounding, and it shifts my focus if I'm a little out of whack or not feeling real good about something. I
Oh,
do
yes.
that, Ilchibuko,
Oh,
and
so
it just
great. So
it
great.
it and I learned this from you. I mean, I've done EFT tapping before, but I
Oh,
learned through your practice.
yeah, it's a little different, right?
It is so beautiful, and that's why I really want people to experience it and experiment with it. Um, in the book, you talk a lot, and in the movie about water up, fire down.
Yes.
What is that?
Yeah. So we consider our body into three parts. One is physical power, one is heart power, and the other is brain power. Yeah. And so each segment, so first there's third chakra area is more physical related. And then heart power area is more like the fourth and fifth chakra area. And the brain power is 6, 7 chakra area. So we divide into three segments. And when we are activating the physical power, meaning how you can utilize the physical being for your spiritual growth and completion. Yeah. And so we are here, right? Not for just eating and going to restroom and such. We are spiritual existence in this physical being to study on earth and grow our bright spirit while we experience human experiences. And so we are here to utilize this physical body, but a lot of times we are used by or controlled by the physical nature of ourselves. So we limit ourselves. And so we are here as an owner of the physical body, how to utilize it. So the state that we can utilize the physical body the best is called water up, fire down. And bringing out that physical power, the power to support your growth. So that state is kidneys carry in the 5 elements in the Eastern medicine, among 5 elements of nature, because we consider everything is connected with the nature's energy flowing through us. We are part of the nature. The kidneys are related to water. Yeah. So that water energy will go up along the spine, top of the head, and coming down to the roof of your mouth. And so it will cool your head. Yeah. And the other is heart. Heart is related to fire elements. So when the cool energy comes, then it naturally pushes the fire energy in the heart down to your lower abdomen. And that fire energy that warms up the abdomen will push the water energy up and continue to circulate. But in what we know as we see fire energy just goes up, right? Water will go down, isn't it? But that will create entropy. So division, separation, and continue to go opposite direction. So there's no circulation. So you can imagine if you left home for some travel for 1 month, in the summer months, you come back home, and where is the heat and where's the cool air? Heat is up and cool air is down. Yeah. And is that circulating condition or stagnation condition? Right? So this is what can happen when you don't circulate energy and just naturally the heat just stays up and cold energy is down, then there's no circulation, and you don't want that in your body either. So by tapping, doing the exercises to create this circulation, then we can activate this continuous movement and circulating energy to help us to bring out the power from inside.
So with that, if we have the opposite, because remember Dana said for most of her life till she met you, her head was hot. So she had the opposite going. So can that create illness in us? If we don't have that circulation going, is that where we're, getting sick or headaches or anything for that matter?
Yeah,
Migraine, yeah.
Headache, migraine becomes chronic migraine.
So is it because we are constantly thinking about just our thoughts are constantly thinking about all the awful things that are happening, and then it's a vicious cycle, because if I have a headache, I'm going, oh, when's this headache going to go away? And you're just reinforcing the headache. So if you do this practice and it's water up, fire down, it seems like it's going to heal a lot of these kinds of ailments.
Yeah, so not only physical benefits, actually will create the balance in three parts of your body. So brain will be clear. Yeah. And we can talk a lot about the brain part, the consciousness. Also consciousness can go higher instead of dwelling in a victim consciousness state. Because the energy is circulating and flowing, mind can be clearer. You're not going to be attached to all this information of your old painful memory, but you can uncover the bright consciousness from inside. And even your heart area begin to flow. So the heart area is about energy expansion. Yeah, so when the energy is flowing, you will be able to expand the love. Yeah. When the energy is stuck here, then it becomes, oh, I said I love you, but why aren't you telling me? So it becomes a small love, emotional love, getting love. And then when it becomes an expansion of energy and the love, then it becomes giving love, which is more of spiritual nature of yourself. So it just creates this whole balance.
And it sounds like if so many of us do this, we're all connected. We're all connected. It's through quantum physics. We're all connected. So we're exuding this beautiful love out. It's healing for the entire planet. It seems. And when I watched the film Love Heals, it's a group of people. They're all healing together, and they all have specific needs that they're working on. But I think the power also of all of them together and the energy of that pure love helped each other heal.
Yes, that's true. Because anyway, with the physical eyes, we divide ourselves. I never in person met you. I don't know you. But in reality, actually, COVID taught us how connected we are. It doesn't matter which country you are anyway, all spread, right? So, we learn from nature that, we are all one and connected. Invisibly, it's all connected. What wasn't in nature, we eat, it becomes part of us. After a couple of hours, we excrete. What was part of us becomes part of nature. And then it's all part of this equal cycle. And, physically, energetically, spiritually, everything is all one. So if I shift and be able to open up and realize who we really are, and I say healing is really connecting to true nature. Yeah, and then I see a lot of transformation. That's exactly when I see huge transformation. People coming with physical, emotional, mental issues, but they shift when they realize who they are. And when they realize who they are, we know naturally, we are all connected. We become brothers and sisters. Like that.
Absolutely. So in the film, these people had absolutely magical transformations. Can you share one or two of them with us?
Yeah, so I think one person was a migraine for her whole life. And I believe now she is no longer having that migraine anymore. She felt that during the 5 days that we spent time, and I just had the Love Heals experience, a 3-hour workshop in Phoenix area, and I met her, and she said, "Thank you so much. You changed my life." And now she's sharing what she learned from the retreat, and so she feels so fulfilled.
I remember her, Ilchibuko. And I think if she's the one I'm thinking of, she never felt good enough. And I thought she was so beautiful. And she just never felt pretty. She never felt good enough. And is she the one that realized through the workshop with you that her body was a vessel to give birth to her children, and how magical that was, and to honor this body because she didn't love her body and she didn't love herself?
Yeah, I think you're talking about Wendy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that person is Wendy. She had the knee issue and she couldn't walk long distance well, but now she can walk, no problem. And so every single person, had a big transformation. One person had a cyst in her body, and she was supposed to have a surgery right after that retreat. And she left the retreat center and went to the doctor, and doctor said, "I don't see the cyst."
Yeah, I remember her. I remember her very, very well.
Yeah.
And what was happening in that, people were starting to love themselves, something that I think seemed impossible to them when they first got there.
Excellent.
Tell me, what is some way, maybe something that we can do daily just to love ourselves? Because it should be easy, but it's very, very challenging.
Yeah. So, I want to say, every single day is our study to uncover ourselves and getting to know ourselves. And the more we get to know ourselves, we find love from inside. Yeah. So, more uncovering and to meet ourselves will come more in a deeper level. But also at the same time, as you probably know, that we will meet challenges along the way, and usually painful ones and difficult ones, and can be suffering one that makes us have to see ourselves deeper. And so, life's experiences will bring us to that point where I have no choice but going inside. I did everything. I went to this specialist, did this. I still have this.
Yeah.
Those people actually come to me, come to the retreat, because usually they have all this method and ways. Yeah. But that's why I really want to say it's a spiritual study for all of us, that there comes the time that really have to transform ourselves. And so I'm not sure if I'm answering to you, but that kind of experiences makes us have no choice but transform. And so that is there's a time, for everyone to move through it. Yeah. But if you really want to uncover ourselves, to meet that self, and to be who we are, then really most important thing is the mind to go out to get something, attain something, and succeed in something. Those are only the steps, not destination. And so as we realize that the life is about actually going inward and getting to know ourselves, with that mind, we can begin to have more attention for ourselves and take time to meet ourselves. So it's not merely exercises. So, I don't want to say this is exercise, although it looks like exercise, but actually it's the method to go inward, to meet ourselves. And so in Love Heals, I always quote it, come home to yourself and find everything you ever looked for in your life inside. So what we do to stimulate our body, what people call exercise, is to bring our mind inwards, to begin opening the eyes inside to see what is here. So with that mind, you can do so-called exercises. So those are body tapping exercises that will help us. And don't try to do multitasking. So watching something and tapping, that is halfway, and it circulate, maybe some circulation of energy, but not really. Energy will flow where you focus. And so tapping exercise will do. And then after tapping exercise, even energy meditation. Energy meditation to feel the sense of energy. And then with that, you can begin to sensitize your brain. And you have a sense to shift from that self that you identify yourself as, and to begin to connect to essence of yourself. So that type of a practice can be really helpful for you.
Incredible. And what value. So if you look at your life when you thought you weren't good enough, that you weren't meeting up to your family's expectations, and you thought, I'm done, basically. You probably were ready to throw in the towel. To this now, to see this transformation, it's really quite remarkable. I remember my light bulb moment for me was my parents died 4 months apart. And I think the same thing happened to you, because I was on a webinar with you, and you said that, and I went, oh my gosh. And that was a moment for me where I felt really lost. Somebody said I was an orphan at that point. And I thought, I need to find out how not to be so sad. And that's when I really got into neuroscience, and which catapulted metaphysics. So I think sometimes there is a moment in our lives where we go, okay, we're not doing this anymore. We're not going to live with a migraine for the rest of our lives. What's the worst thing that could happen? Let's try something. And the transformations at your retreat are nothing short than miraculous. And people, the way they looked from the day one to the day they left, they were glowing. They were glowing when they left. There was one woman I remember couldn't walk to the mailbox. She was so beautiful. And then later on, I think I saw her actually in something later on. She is walking, thriving, glowing, absolutely glowing. And so this is real, what we're doing. And I think these practices that you are doing is the way we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be this person that you're talking about, yet we cloud it with dust, with our thoughts. Can we talk for 1 minute about how lethal and dangerous our thoughts are?
It's true. It's true. Like, if you hold a cup and then there is a poison inside, would you drink it? you wouldn't. You would never put that liquid in your mouth. But what we do with our thoughts, every day, every moment. Yeah. So we weren't educated in schools. I talk about this a lot in a lecture or a retreat. We had so many years of education in schools, but we are not taught how to deal with our emotions in school. Which regular school, public school, have the emotion 101. We all didn't. And then who is the educator at home? The parents. Parents didn't know any better. And they were just surviving to make it through for us. And they experienced their emotion and they didn't know what to do. They did their best. And so we're in that kind of a situation as we grew up. And even what to think about, parents maybe knew just to do the action of making a baby, but then baby came. Right? So then after that, they don't know. The manual didn't come with them, and they just did what they could, what they knew. And feels like, when we could be that even parents, they have a privilege to correct or fix something to kids, but actually they didn't much know any better. And then kids also have some expectation for the parents, and that's why we have closest people, we may have a lot of wounds and pain and trauma even. And so we carry that from childhood until now. And a lot of times to make it through, we just run through life. Our body grow naturally. We don't have to try hard to get older in our body. We have a gray hair and then we grow. But inside of us, how to handle emotion, how to grow ourselves, we never were much taught. Yeah. And so that's why, our thoughts, we didn't know. And then we struggle so much to the point we cannot handle anymore. And then there comes transformation. So,
right. We're not taught. I often say that we wouldn't say to our best friend or anybody, a stranger, what we say to ourselves.
It's true.
And if you think about it, it seems so ridiculous. And you have a choice. You can say something nice to yourself or you can beat yourself up.
Yeah, it's true.
What do you choose? But this practice just helps you see the beauty in who you are as a human being and a spiritual being. It's undeniable. It's because I see what happened with Dana and her transformation. I saw what happened with all the people in your retreat, and it's undeniable. It 100% works. I think every single person that leaves feels 100% shift.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I just wish that, every single human being on this planet Earth recognize their value exists inside. Yeah. Because what we see with our physical eyes, it looks, other friends are better. Or, depending on accomplishment, we begin to compare. But there's nothing to compare when we live for our growth and completion of our life. Meaning just knowing the purpose, true purpose of your life.
And that's what we're all looking for, is our true purpose. And in the last decade, I've thought I would have just a beautiful, successful life if I felt joyful and calm and peaceful. There was nothing to do with a job, with an income, it's just to wake up in the morning and feel magic. And I do have something that I say every morning to start my day like that. I think that we're all searching to be happy, really, Ilchibuko, don't you think?
Yes.
Yes.
Myself.
Including yourself. So what did your husband, when you did this retreat and came back and felt better, what was his reaction to that?
Yeah, so it's actually a long story. I'm not married to him anymore.
Okay.
Because he wanted, so this is a side story. He wanted me to water one tree only. And after I awakened to who I am, I wanted to water many trees.
The forest.
Forest. He didn't like it.
Well, because it's, yes, threatening. Yeah.
So, you know, I was a good wife and did everything what he expected. But so, you know, he thought I was bright and everything, but, you know, more than bright, I wanted to be that brightness and to share that brightness. So, and so that's when, you know, another change happened. Yeah. So, you know, breaking it off and
Yes.
and really focusing on my purpose. And of course, that's not the ultimate way for everybody, because with understanding and the support, you can do both, you know. But my case was a little different.
And I think your case was also, I think a lot of women had the same case as you did.
Yeah.
And it's a growing process in marriage, you know, it's a give and take. And yes, I feel fortunate in that regard. But yeah, it's
Sure.
no, I understand exactly. And what's so great is that you followed your heart. You followed who you were rather than acquiescing to somebody, you know, somebody else's ideal of us. And I think a lot of us think, I need to be the way you want me to be. And you're never going to be happy that way.
I couldn't lie to myself anymore after awakening. Yeah. So, you know, once you awaken to who you really are, you cannot go backwards. Yeah.
Oh, I think that's beautiful. I found out myself that once because I was very anxious all of my life, and I did a lot of work with neuroscience, and I'm not that way. Of course, it pops in every now and then, but it doesn't stick at all. And I've tried to make myself go back and feel some of that to get into that space, and I can't do it anymore.
Right.
So once you go up the steps a bit, you're not going to go back down the stairs. You're going to trip a little bit, because we always do. It's never going to be perfect, but you're always going to be moving forward. And that's certainly what this Love Heals practice does. And I hope everybody watches this movie. It's such an important film. And yeah, like I watched it 3 times, read the book, listened to the book. I wanted to soak it. I wanted to soak it all in. Is there something else? I can't believe we're almost coming to the end here. I always say that. Is there something else that you would like before? I have some questions I like to ask, but is there something that you would like to share that you think is important that maybe we didn't touch upon?
I think always have the mind to give yourself a chance to connect to yourself. And that if you feel shaken, if you feel stuck, if you feel really suffering and pain, you shift it from the truest nature of yourself. Yeah. So everything already exists. This pure, bright, connected, powerful, confident self exists. Yeah. But if you're feeling otherwise, that means it's covered up. Yeah. So all you have to do is become the best merrymaid. Clean. Yeah. It's not that you are not enough, you're broken and you are forever. You know, when you are really in that place, you feel like you are that being. You know, you're convinced. So I always say, don't be convinced by that when you feel. Even the 5-day retreat, the Love Heals retreat, you see the last day sharing. But if you saw them day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, they really had a hard time. Yeah, because all kind of stuff coming out, even healing process time, you know, that all that have to purge and be released. At that time, they don't feel good. Yeah. So when you're not feeling good, don't be believing in that is who you are. Yeah.
I also say that's such a good point. I also say that this process of kind of awakening, finding yourself, your purpose, who you are, the beautiful person that you are, it's not, you know, unicorns and rainbows. And it can be painful, but the pain you're going through is worth every second, because there is, you know, light. You do get into the light. And I look back at some of my darkest moments, and I've said many times, I thank them, because without them, like, I'm sure you thank your experience growing up, because you would never be where you are today. So it's if you can just sustain the pain, the discomfort that it takes to get through, everybody's going to get through to the other side.
Yes.
Oh, and it's just such a relief. It's just a beautiful, beautiful relief. And as I always say, life is too important to be taken seriously. So anyway, I have a few questions, if I can ask you. So the first question is, what's your number one go-to strategy to relieve mental distress?
Well, this is a hard question to just pick one thing.
I know.
Because everything I do and we share is really about relieving that kind of a tension and stress, mental challenge that we may be faced with. So I'm going to say brainvacation. Yeah, so what we do and our method. So if we have to choose one, the first step. Yeah, so first, breathe out. Breathe out. And then allow yourself to feel, sensitize, and then get in touch with that sense of energy. And with that, you will shift from outward-driven consciousness to more inward-driven consciousness.
Do you suggest that we breathe in through our nose and then make a sound when we breathe out?
So first, actually, without thinking any of that, just shake.
Yeah, so I do that a lot.
Shake. Yeah, shake.
I do it a lot.
Make the energy activated and breathe out. Yeah. Okay. And as you know, when you breathe out, heart rate also calm down. Yeah. So just like that, you know, garbage can fill up with things. You don't think about what to do, each one of them. You just upside down and shake. It's kind of similar. Similar concept.
I love it. I shake. I'll just stand and just start shaking. I even do it in the gym sometimes, just when I feel like I need to change my physicality. I love that. What's one of the best pieces of advice you've received in life, personally or professionally?
Yeah. So when I think about more than advice, actually my awakenings. Yeah. Being guided to awaken, that is the best thing that's ever happened to me, because the awakening leads to awareness, and then I can live with the awakened mindset.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah.
What does a successful life look like to you?
I want to say, yeah, I'm not really answering exactly what you asked.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't. No, it doesn't matter. It's whatever comes to you.
Yeah, for me, it's a shifting from success model to completion model. So success model is for attaining, achieving, and get more, have more, to be someone. To completion model is actually let go and release, and to meet that self and be the expression of the truth existing inside.
That's perfect. The last question. Complete this sentence. It's not a question, it's a sentence. In the past, I was, and now I am.
In the past, I was worried and anxious, fearful of everything, and now I'm just to be happy, being joyful, being who I truly am.
It's so beautiful. Can I ask you one more thing about fear, since this is Fear Unzipped? If we're in a state of fear, like, and I don't mean a real traumatic fear, but we're just fearful about maybe speaking in front of people, or fearful somebody's going to say something terrible about us, is there something we can do? At that moment that fear comes inside of us, is there something we can do to try to shift it a bit?
Okay. Yeah. So this is something I do, and really short. So it's not like a fixing forever, but squeeze your anus. Squeeze your anus and squeeze your sphincter muscle, and bring your attention to your abdomen.
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah. You can breathe also.
Okay.
So squeezing and relaxing, squeezing and relaxing. Yeah.
And what does that do?
So shifting attention brings energy. Yeah, downwards. Yeah, and so always the lower chakra area is a place of confidence. And when you focus on there, sometimes we say gut health is a brain health. When we focus on squeezing anus, squeezing abdominal area, help us to bring the energy down, and then activate this confidence from inside. Yeah, being grounded.
I love it. I did it while you were talking, and you just feel good.
Yeah, just a little tip.
That's a great tip. It's a big tip. Ilchibuko, where can people find you?
So I have Instagram, Ilchibuko, ILCHIBUKO. That's a good place where I upload quite often, just little tips like that. And if you want to know about more events, then ilchibuko.com. Yeah.
Okay.
That's where you can get actually first free chapter of the book. So you can type in your information, and then we'll send you the first chapter of the book. And you'll find the address you can go to even purchase book if you want.
And please, people, purchase it. It's so important. All of this information will be in the show notes, all the links, everything that people will need to get in touch with you. And I do share your stories. I share your Instagram and stories a lot, because they're tips on just how to shift one little thing, and they're really important. So, well, I can't thank you enough. I have enjoyed every minute of this, and
Thank you so much.
You're a beautiful, beautiful soul, and you're doing so much good on the planet, and we need more people like you. And your energy, it's lovely.
I think I want to say the same to you. Thank you for your love and commitment, doing what you do. I'm sure it's touching and many people, changing many people's lives. So
thank you so much. Thank you, Ilchibuko. We're a community. We're here to help each other. Yes. So we're nobody's alone. Nobody's alone. Okay, sending so much love to you. So much love.
Nice to meet you.
You too.